Hi, everybody, and welcome back to LL Sports TV. Hope you're doing well. Tonight saw a big unification welterweight world title fight taking place over in Atlantic City, featuring the number one and number two ranked in the division. You had Jerome Ennis from Philadelphia, the current IBF champion, taking on the WBA champion, Imantis Stanionis from Lithuania. The fight was scheduled for 12 rounds and it took place in Atlantic City. Jerome Ennis, being from Philadelphia, pretty much the home fighter. I think Atlantic City is about 60 miles away from Philly. Big crowd. Jerome Ennis had, as you can imagine, he had by far the majority of the fans in the house. They were making a lot of noise. But I've got to say that Stanionis had his fair share of support as well. There's quite a few fans in there waving Lithuanian flags. So it was all set for a great night. So to the fight then. The fight started. Stanionis, as expected, came out the traps quite fast. Took the centre of the ring behind a high guard. Boots was happy to circle. He started off the fight by throwing quite a few jabs, utilising good footwork, good movement, showing angles. I thought he took the first round fairly comfortably. Stanionis didn't really do that much. He came in with the high guard, threw some jams, but definitely a Boots in his round. By the second round, Boots had relaxed, got into what I call a switch hitting mode, went southpaw, went orthodox, went back and forth, again utilising great movement, going to the body, throwing uppercuts, throwing jabs, looked really good. Although Stanionis did warm up a little bit and landed a couple of good shots of his own, notably landed a good left hook towards a good counter left hook towards the end of the round, but definitely a Boots in his round. A third round was a better round for Stanionis, actually. He didn't win the round, but I thought he landed some sharp jabs. He landed a good right hand, and again, he landed a couple of left hooks. But I've got to say, Boots by this time was starting to warm to the task, looking really good in there when he let his hands go, showing good footwork, showing confidence, showing swag, starting to showboat a little bit, but not in bad taste. But he was looking good. Round four, good round for Boots. Turning on the style, turning on the showboating, landing multi-punch combinations, showing excellent footwork, making Stanionis miss, making him pay. Good variety with his punches, going to the head, going to the body, throwing uppercuts. It was all happening in there. Stanionis earnestly plodding forward, trying to do his best. But I think the golfing class was starting to really show by the fourth round. And yeah, another Boots round. Round five, another good round for Ennis. And I think he hurt Stanionis in the fifth round as well with an uppercut. And like I said, the golfing class was now starting to show. I thought he put on a really good effort. Stanionis, by this time, was cut and blooded, but he was hanging in there. But like I said, it was the golfing class was starting to show, and Boots was pulling away. So to round six, Boots really turns on the style in the sixth round. He'd hurt Stanionis in the round before. I think the corner must have said, look, go after him, start to stick it on him. And that's exactly what he did. Again, jabs, right hands, uppercuts, the whole nine, good footwork, switch hitting, everything you could think of. Boots Ennis was starting to display. And he hurt Stanionis badly with a couple of body shots. Stanionis backed off to the ropes. Boots pursued him with some more uppercuts, going to both sides of the body, and dropped Stanionis with a left hook and some more uppercuts. Really good stuff. Stanionis simply couldn't evade them. The shots were just raining on him. He managed to get up, but as he got up, you could see he was already a thoroughly beaten man. There was blood all over his face, cut on his eye, nose blooded. Eyes started to look puffy as well. He was starting to look really beat up in there. And when the bell went for the end of the sixth round and Stanionis went back to his corner, he looked a beaten man. He sat down. He consulted with his corner, and you could hear the corner say to him, look, we're going to pull you out. Stanionis, upon hearing those words, didn't dissent from that view. He knew he was beaten. He probably thought to himself, the corner, I've done the right thing by saving him. And so the fight was called off in between the sixth and seventh round. I've got to say, man, What a performance by Boots Ennis. Sensational performance, phenomenal. Running out of superlatives to describe what I've just seen. And I know this, may sound a little bit of recency bias because obviously I'm filming this video having just watched the fight, but I'm struggling to think of a more complete performance I've seen by a boxer this year in 2025. I mean, we've seen some big knockouts. We've seen some outstanding performances. But in terms of a complete performance, especially at this level, to dominate a previously unbeaten fighter in a unification fight of this magnitude, to do that to Stanionis, who's known for his toughness and his durability, to do that to Stanionis, effectively making him quit after 6 rounds, is a phenomenal performance. So shout out to Jerome Boots Ennis. And like I said, he displayed every skill set you would want to see from a top boxer. He threw good punches. The footwork was brilliant. The defense was good. He got caught a couple of times, but then, hey, you're in with a guy like Stanionis. Stanionis is a good fighter. But he made Stanionis, he outclassed him. It's as simple as that. I mean, I did a video before the fight and I said I thought this would be a very competitive, closely contested fight. I had Jerome Boots Ennis winning. Well, I said it would be something like 1-1-5, 1-1-3. Scorecards were not necessary. Jerome Ennis totally dominated him and stopped him, made him quit. And like I said, when you're doing that to a guy of Stanionis' level, that is seriously impressive. He reminded me of what I've seen Lomachenko do to opponents in previous years, where Lomachenko was just so good that he made his opponents look very ordinary. And I say that without any shade to Stanionis. It's just that the golfing class was that apparent tonight. So seriously impressive stuff by Boots Ennis. 6-round stoppage win. And yeah, I mean, okay, he's not unified all the belts. The other 2 belts in the division are held by Mario Barrios and Brian Norman Jr. No disrespect to those guys, but on this type of form that Boots has shown tonight, I don't think either of those 2 have much of a chance against him. I really don't. He was that good tonight. But yeah, that's my thoughts on it. I mean, afterwards, when Boots was interviewed, it's interesting because they asked him about unification and he never committed to it. He said he's going to go back and look at the fight, talk to his team and decide what options or what fights he'll take next. And I think that's probably a smart move because after a performance like that, the whole of the boxing world will be talking. So I'm sure he will have options. He might want to move up in weight. But the whole world will be wanting to see him again because that was seriously impressive what we saw tonight. Eddie Hearn, Jerome Boots and his promoter, was interviewed in the ring. And after, you can imagine that Eddie Hearn was waxing lyrical. He seemed genuinely excited. And, let's face it, Eddie Hearn is a man that's been around the block now in terms of boxing. And he sounded very, very excited. That's what he might do because honestly, as I'm talking to you now, I'm genuinely excited also because I think we may have seen the birth of a great fighter tonight. We knew he had the skills. We knew he was talented. But in order to achieve greatness, it's when you step up to those next levels. If you can reproduce what you've been showing in the big, big fights, then you're on your way to greatness. And what I saw tonight amounted to that. I mean, if he keeps his feet on the ground, works hard, stays humble, there's no limit to what he can achieve. And I say that without any reservation at all. Seriously impressive stuff. But yeah, let me know what you think. I mean, I hope you can watch the fight. Let me know what you think in the comments. Were you impressed? How much are you impressed? Do you think Jerome Boots Ennis can go on to be a great fighter? Like I think, like Eddie Hearn thinks, and I'm sure like many other people who saw that tonight will be thinking exactly the same thing. That's all for me. Yeah, like I said, a seriously impressive performance by Jerome Boots Ennis. Let me know in the comments what you think. That's all from me. Thanks so much for watching the video. I really appreciate it. If you're new to the channel, please like, share, and subscribe. I'm out. I'll catch you on the next one.